The earliest known reference to armies in what today is India a millennia ago in the Vedas and the epics Ramayana and Mahabharata. From the ancient period to the 19th century, a succession of powerful dynasties came to be, and some were challenged by lesser Indian rulers who also struggled for land and power through warring. The British colonized India during the 19th century. The predecessors to the contemporary Army of India were many. The sepoy regiments, native cavalry, irregular horse and Indian sapper and minor companies raised by the three British presidencies. The Army of India was raised under the British Raj in the 19th century by taking the erstwhile presidency armies, merging them, and bringing them under the Crown. The British Indian Army fought in both World Wars. The armed forces succeeded the military of British India following India's independence in 1947. After World War II, many of the wartime troops were discharged and units disbanded. The reduced armed forces were partitioned between India and Pakistan. The Indian armed forces fought in all three wars against Pakistan and a war with the People's Republic of China. India also fought in the Kargil War with Pakistan in 1999, the highest altitude mountain warfare in history. The Indian Armed Forces have participated in several United Nations peacekeeping operations and are presently the second largest contributor of troops to the peacekeeping force. The Vedic period. The Rigvedic tribes of Indo-Aryans were led by their tribal chieftains and engaged in wars with each other and other tribes. They used bronze weapons and horse-drawn spoke-wheeled chariots described prominently in the Rig Veda. The main share from the booty obtained during cattle raids and battles went to the chief of the tribe. The warriors belonged to the Kshatriya Varna. The Vedas and other associated texts dating to the post-Rigvedic Vedic period contain the earliest written references to armies in India. The earliest known application of war elephants dates to this period. The animals are mentioned in several Vedic Sanskrit hymns. The two great epics of India, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, center on conflicts between the emerging Mahajanapadas and refer to military formations, theories of warfare and esoteric weaponry. They discuss standing armies that used in war chariots, war elephants and even flying machines. The Ramayana describes in great detail the fortifications of Ayodhya. The Mahabharata describes various military techniques such as Chakravyuha used in the Kurukshetra war. The Magadha dynasties. Shishanaga dynasty, the expansionist king Bimbisara conquered Anga in what is now West Bengal and strengthened the military of Magadha's capital, Rajagriha. Ajatashatru built a new fort at Pataliputra, Magadha's new capital, to launch an attack on Lichavis across the Ganges River. Jain texts tell that he used two new weapons, a catapult and a covered chariot with swinging mace that has been compared to modern tanks. Nanda Dynasty. The Nanda Dynasty originated from the region of Magadha in ancient India during the 4th century BC. At its greatest extent, the empire ruled by the Nanda Dynasty extended from Bengal in the east to Punjab in the west and as far south as the Vindhya range. In 327 BC, Alexander the Great began his foray into Punjab. King Amba, ruler of Taxila, surrendered the city to Alexander. Alexander fought an epic battle against the Indian monarch Porus in the Battle of Hydaspes. After victory, Alexander made an alliance with Porus and appointed him as satrap of his own kingdom. East of Porus, a kingdom, near the Ganges River, was the powerful kingdom of Magadha, under the Nanda dynasty. According to Plutarch, at the time of Alexander's battle of the Hydaspes River, the size of the Nanda's army further east numbered 200,000 infantry, 80,000 cavalry, 8,000 chariots, and 6,000 war elephants, which was discouraging for Alexander's men and stayed their further progress into India. Maurya Dynasty. According to Megasthenes, who served as an ambassador from the Seleucid Empire, Chandragupta Maurya built an army consisting of 30,000 cavalry, 9,000 war elephants, and 600,000 infantry. Chandragupta conquered much of Indian subcontinent, establishing an empire from the Arabian Sea to the Bay of Bengal. He then defeated the Seleucid Empire of Greece under Seleucus I Nicator to conquer the regions to the east of the Indus River. He then turned south, taking over much of what is now central India. His military was administered by 6 chairs, one for each of the 4 arms of the army, 1 chair for the navy, and 1 for logistics and supply. Other foot soldiers could be armed with a large animal hide tower shield and a spear or javelins. Cavalry carried spears. Elephants were mounted, usually bareback, by archers or javelin throwers, with a mahout around the animal's neck. Chariots by this time were in definite decline, but remained in the army due to their prestige. In 185 BC, the last Mauryan ruler was assassinated by Pushyamitra Shunga, the commander-in-chief of the Mauryan armed forces. Shunga dynasty war and conflict characterized the Shunga period. They are known to have warred with the Kalingas, Satavahanas, the Indo-Greeks, and possibly the Panchalais and Mathuras. Extent of the Shunga Empire's wars with the Indo-Greek kingdom figure greatly in the history of this period. From around 180 BCE, the Indo-Greek ruler Demetrius I of Bactria conquered the Kabul Valley and is theorized to have advanced into the Trans-Indus. The Indo-Greek Nanda is credited with either joining or leading a campaign to Pataliputra with other Indian rulers. However, very little is known about the exact nature and success of the campaign. The net result of these wars remains uncertain. Pushyamitra is recorded to have performed 2 Ashvamedha yagnas, and Shunga imperial inscriptions have extended as far as Jalandhar. Scriptures such as the Divya Vardhana note that his rule extended even farther to Sialkot, in the Punjab. Moreover, if it was lost, Mathura was regained by the Shungas around 100 BCE, and Yudhayas mention military victories on their coins. And during the 1st century BCE, the Trigartas, Audambaras and finally the Kunandar also started to mint their own coins. Accounts of battles between the Greeks and the Shunga in northwestern India are also found in the Malavikarnamitram, a play by Kalidasar which describes a battle between Greek cavalrymen and Vasumitra, the grandson of Pushyamitra, on the Indus River, in which the Indians defeated the Greeks and Pushyamitra successfully completed the Ashvamedha Yagna. 12. The Indo-Greeks and the Shungas seem to have reconciled and exchanged diplomatic missions around 110 BCE, as indicated by the Heliodorus Pilaf, which records the dispatch of a Greek ambassador named Heliodorus from the court of the Indo-Greek king Anti-Alcidas to the court of the Shunga emperor Bhagabhadra at the site of Odisha in central India. The Golden Age. Classical Indian texts on archery in particular and martial arts in general are known as Dhanuveda. Several classics of the genre date from this period. Satavahana Dynasty. According to some interpretations of the Puranas, the Satavahana family belonged to the Andhra Jati and was the first Deccanese dynasty to build an empire in Dakshinapatha. The Satavahanas rose to power in modern Telangana, Andhra Pradesh and Maharashtra around 200 BC and remained in power for about 400 years. Almost the whole of present-day Telangana, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Goa, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh came under Satavahana rule. Their first capital was Koti Lingala, as well as Pathan, then called Pratisthan. Simukha, the dynasty's founder, conquered Maharashtra, Malwa and part of Madhya Pradesh. His successor and brother Kanha further extended his kingdom to the west and the south. He was succeeded by Satakani I, who defeated the Shunga dynasty of North India. His successor, Gautamiputra Satakani, defeated the invading Indo-Scythians, Indo-Parthians and Indo-Greeks. His empire extended up to Banavaja in the south, and included Maharashtra, Khandan, Saurashtra, Malwa, West Rajasthan and Vidarbha. Later, Satavahana rulers lost some of these territories. Satavahana power revived briefly under Yajnaശ്ree Satakani but declined after his death. Mahameghavahana Dynasty. The Mahameghavahana Dynasty was an ancient ruling dynasty of Kalinga after the decline of the Mauryan Empire. The third ruler of the dynasty, Kharavela, conquered much of India in a series of campaigns at the beginning of the Common Era. 2. Kalingan military might was reinstated by Kharavela. Under Kharavela's generalship, the Kalinga state had a formidable maritime reach with trade routes linking it to the then Simhala, Burma, Siam, Vietnam, Cambodia, Borneo, Bali, Samudra and Yavadvipa. Kharavela led many successful campaigns against states of Magadha, Anga, Satavahanas and the South Indian regions of Pandyan Empire and expanded Kalinga as far as the Ganges and the Kaveri. The Kharavelan state had a formidable maritime empire with trading routes linking it to Sri Lanka, Burma, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Borneo, Bali, Sumatra and Java. Colonists from Kalinga settled in Sri Lanka, Burma, as well as the Maldives and maritime Southeast Asia. Even today Indians are referred to as Keling in Malaysia because of this. 3. The main source of information about Kharavela is his famous 17-line rock-cut Atagumfa inscription in a cave in the Udayagiri hills near Bhubaneswar, Odisha. According to the inscription, he attacked Rajagriha in Magadha, thus defeating the Indo-Greek king Demetrius I of Bactria to retreat to Mathura. 6. Gupta dynasty. Shivadana Veda discusses the military of the Gupta Empire. The Guptas relied heavily on armored war elephants. Horses were used little if at all. The use of chariots had declined heavily by the time of the Guptas, as they had not proved very useful against the Greeks, Scythians, and other invaders. Guptas utilized heavy cavalry clad in mail armor and equipped with maces and lances, who would have used shock action to break the enemy line. They also employed infantry archers. They also sometimes used fire arrows. Archers were frequently protected by infantry equipped with shields, javelins, and longswords. The Guptas also maintained a navy, allowing them to control regional waters. Samudragupta seized the kingdoms of Shikshatra and Padmavati early in his reign. Later, he took the Kota kingdom and attacked the tribes in Malvis, the Yodhayas, the Arjunayanas, the Maduras and the Abaris. He also subjugated the remounts of the Kushan Empire. By his death in 380, he had conquered over 20 kingdoms. 4th century CE Sanskrit poet Kalidasar credits Chandragupta II with having conquered about 21 kingdoms, both in and outside India. After finishing his campaign in the east and west India, he proceeded northwards, subjugated the Parasikas, then the Hunas and the Kambojas tribes located in the west and east Oxus valleys respectively. Chandragupta II controlled the whole of the Indian subcontinent. The Gupta Empire was the most powerful empire in the world during his reign, at a time when the Roman Empire in the west was in decline. Skandagupta faced with invading Indo-Hephthalites or White Huns from the northwest. Skandagupta had warred against the Huns during the reign of his father, and was celebrated throughout the empire as a great warrior. He crushed the Huns' invasion in 455, and managed to keep them at bay. However, the expense of the wars drained the empire's resources and contributed to its decline. The Classical Age. Empire of Harsha. Emperor Harsha ruled the Empire of Harsha covering northern India for over 40 years. His father, a king of Thanissar, had gained prominence by successful wars against the Huns. Harsha had plans to conquer the whole of India, and carried on wars for 30 years with considerable success. By 612 he had built up a vast army with which he conquered nearly all North India up to the Narmada River. In 620 he invaded the Deccan Plateau but was repelled by Pulakshan II. The Chalukyas and Pallavas in South India. The Chalukyas and the Pallavas gained prominence The Chalukya ruler Pulakshind I's expansionism started with minor campaigns against the Alupar, Gangas and others. He defeated the Pallava king Mahendravarman and conquered the Cheras and the Pandyas. His greatest military success, the defeat of Harshavardhana, depleted his treasury, forcing him to end his expansionist campaigns. The Pallava king Narasimhavarman vowed to avenge Mahendravarman's defeat by Pulakshind II. He invaded Vatapi with an army headed by his general Paranjyothi. He defeated the Chalukyas, killing Pulakshind II in 642. Clashes between the Chalukyas and the Pallavas continued for a century, until the Chalukya king Vikramaditya II won a decisive victory against the Pallavas in 740. The Rashtrakutas overthrew the Chalukya Empire in 750. During the 970s, Taylapitu overthrew the Rashtrakutas and recovered most of the Chalukyan Empire, except for Gujarat. The Chalukyas of this period are known as the Kalyani Chalukyas, as Kalyani was their capital. They clashed intermittently with the Cholas. The Chola Empire. The Cholas were the first rulers of the Indian subcontinent to maintain a navy and use it to expand their dominion overseas. Vijayalaya Chola defeated the Pallavas and captured Thanjavur. In the early 10th century, the Chola king Parantaka I defeated the Pandyan king Marivarman Rajsimha II and invaded Sri Lanka. The Rashtrakuta ruler Krishna III defeated and killed Parantaka I's son Radhaditya in about 949. Uttamar Chola reigned 970–85. Inscriptions tell that at least from his time, Chola warriors wore waistcoats of armor. Hence, one regiment was called Niyam Uttamar Chola Tarindarandala Katala. Paluvitarayu Marivan Kandanar served as a general under Uttamar and his predecessor, Sundara. Rajaraja Chola began his military career with the conquest of the Cheras in the Kandalur War. He captured the Pandya ruler Amara Bhujanga, the town of Ilanam, and a part of Sri Lanka. In the 14th year of his reign he conquered the Gangas of Mysore, the Nolambas of Bellary and eastern Mysore, Tadagaipadi, Vengib Korg, the Pandyas and the Chalukyas of the Deccan. During the next 3 years, he subdued Quilin and the northern kingdom of Kalinga with the help of his son Rajendra Chola I. Rajendra later completed the conquest of Sri Lanka, crossed the Ganges, and marched across Kalinga to Bengal. He sent out a great naval expedition that occupied parts of Java, Malaya, and Sumatra. The Cholas were brought down by the Hoysalas from the west and Pandyas from the south. The Gurjar Pratiharas, Pallas and Rashtrakutas. The Arab scholar Suleiman described the emperor of the Rashtrakuta dynasty as one of the 4 great kings of the world in the 9th century. In middle of 9th century, the Pallas under Devarpala attacked the Gurjara Pratiharas. Led by Mihir Bhoja, the Pratiharas and their allies defeated Narayan Pala. There were many battles between the Gurjar Pratiharas under Bhoj and the Rashtrakutas under Krishna II with mixed results. When the Rashtrakuta king Indra III attacked Kanayu, Mahipala, Mihir Bhoja's successor, fled. He later returned. Al-Masudi wrote that in 915, during Mahipala's rule, the Pratiharas were at war with the Muslims in the west and the Rashtrakutas in the south, and that the Gurjar Pratiharas had 4 armies of about 800,000 men each. Arab conquest of Sind in 712, an Arab general, named Muhammad bin Kashim al-Thaqafi, attacked and conquered Sind kingdom, which is mainly situated in Indus Valley area. By the time Sind was ruled by Raja Dahir of Ray dynasty. This dynasty was at war with Arabs, though they defeated several Arab invasion before 712 CE. But this time being deprived of local Buddhist people's support, Sindhu was captured and the first step of Islamic foundation in India was created. Chachnama, written by Qazi Ismail, briefly discusses the events. However, the South Indian Emperor Vikramaditya II of the Chalukya dynasty and the Pratiharas defeated the Arabs at the Battle of Rajasthan when they tried to move eastward. Indian inscriptions confirm this invasion but record the Arab success only against the smaller states in Gujarat. They also record the defeat of the Arabs at two places. The southern army moving south into Gujarat was defeated at Navsari by the South Indian Emperor Vikramaditya II of the Chalukya dynasty, who sent to his general Pulakshan to defeat the Arabs. 2. The army that went east reached Avanti, whose ruler Gurjara Pratihara. 3. Nagabhata I utterly defeated the invaders. Arab forces failed to make any substantial gains in India, and in the Battle of Rajasthan, their army was severely defeated by the Indian kings. As a result, Arabs' territory got restricted to Sindh in modern Pakistan. 1. Ghaznavid invasion. In the early 11th century, Mahmud of Ghazni conquered the Rajput Hindu Shahi kingdom in the northwest frontier in Afghanistan and Pakistan, and his raids into northern India weakened the Pratihara kingdom, which was drastically reduced in size and came under the control of the Chandalas. The early 11th century also saw the reign of the polymath king Raja Bhoj, the Paramara ruler of Malwa. Raja Bhoj then organized his armies to attack Sultan Mahmud Ghaznavi, who had invaded Somnath. Ghaznavi, fearing the powerful army of Bhoj, retreated via the desert of Sindh to avoid a clash with the Indian king and lost many of his men. Bhoj repulsed the Ghazi Sayyid Salam Masood, who led an army into India to conquer the northern India which his uncle, Sultan Mahmud Ghaznavi, had failed to conquer. Then Bhoj, realizing the threat, organized a confederation of Indian kings including the Kalashuri Lakshmi Khana, the Chahamana and other Indian kings to fight the Salam Masood. In the Battle of Barach, the Northern India Confederacy fought a pitched battle for about a month with the Ghaznavi army and completely defeated them, killing Salam Masood in the process. They then went on to conquer Hanzi, Daneshvar, Nagakot and other cities taken by the Ghaznavids and marched against Lahore and besieged it. Just at the point Lahore was about to fall to them, the Indian kings had a disagreement over who would own the captured territories, and their armies disbanded and dispersed in a huff. Bhoj started fighting other Indian kings who were his erstwhile allies in the war against the Ghaznavids.